The great hall of the alien palace was silent. Its tall silver walls glowed faintly in the dark, and thousands of alien eyes watched from the shadows. At the center stood one human, alone, small and fragile compared to the towering alien people around him. But his voice was strong and his heart beat without fear. He looked at her, the alien woman who had captured his soul. Her skin shimmered like moonlight, her long hair sparkled like threads of silver, and her golden eyes burned like fire. To him, she was more than beautiful. She was the reason he had crossed galaxies. The human raised his hand. His voice echoed through the hall. "I came here not as a stranger," he said, "but as a man who loves. I ask not for riches, not for power, but for her hand. Let me marry her. Let me stand beside her for all my days." A gasp spread through the alien crowd. Some hissed, some whispered. A human daring to ask for their daughter, their warrior, their pride. It was unthinkable. Yet he stood tall, waiting, his eyes locked on hers. For a moment, the alien woman said nothing. Her gaze was soft, almost tender. She stepped forward, her golden eyes glowing brighter. "Human," she said gently, "you speak with courage. You speak with love. And my heart." She paused, her voice trembling for the first time. "My heart hears you." Hope lit the human's face. The hall seemed to lean forward, every alien waiting for her answer. But then her voice grew sharp. "Yet you do not understand." The glow of the hall dimmed. A shadow passed over her beautiful face. She turned her head slowly, and from the darkness 3 tall figures stepped forward. Her sisters. The first sister was taller than the rest, with eyes as sharp as blades. Her body was covered in heavy armor, and every step she took shook the floor. She was strength. The second sister wore robes of deep blue, her fingers shining with strange lights. Her eyes were calm but cold, filled with secrets no human could read. She was wisdom. The third sister stood silent. Her hair was black as night, her gaze fierce, her presence heavy like stone. Her silence was more dangerous than words. She was loyalty. The alien woman looked back at the human. "You think you can take me, human? You think our bond is enough?" "No." She shook her head, her voice like thunder. "My sisters stand with me. Without them, I am nothing. Without them, there can be no marriage." The first sister stepped closer, her voice sharp as steel. "If you want her, human, you must prove yourself against me. Show me you are strong enough to protect her." The second sister's eyes glowed brighter. "If you want her, you must face me. Show me your mind is sharp, your wisdom unbroken. Prove you will not fail her in thought." The third sister finally spoke, her voice low and heavy. "And if you want her, you must stand before me. Show me loyalty. Show me that you will never abandon her, even if the stars fall." The human's chest tightened. He had come here only to love. But now love was not simple. It was a test, a battle against 3 powers beyond human measure. The alien crowd whispered louder. Some laughed at him, calling him a fool. Others looked at him with curiosity. Could a human truly face such trials? Could a human dare? The alien woman watched him with tears in her eyes. She whispered just loud enough for him to hear, "I want you. But they will never let me go alone. If you want me, you must want them too." The human stood silent. His heart pounded like a drum. This was no ordinary proposal. This was a choice that could bind his fate forever. At last he raised his head. His voice was steady, though his hands trembled. "Then I will face you all. Whatever trials you give me, I will endure. Not because I seek power, not because I seek glory, but because my love is true." The first sister narrowed her eyes. The second sister tilted her head with interest. The third sister's lips curved in a faint, unreadable smile. The hall shook with murmurs, voices rising in disbelief. A human had just challenged 3 alien sisters. The alien woman's golden eyes shone with hope, but fear too. She knew what was coming. The eldest sister raised her hand and the crowd fell silent. Her voice boomed through the chamber. "Then it is decided. The trials begin at dawn." The alien torches burned brighter. The sisters turned away, their cloaks sweeping across the stone floor. The human was left standing alone at the center, his fate sealed. The woman he loved reached out to him, but the guards pulled her back. Her eyes met his one last time, filled with sorrow and fire. The human closed his fists. He whispered to himself, "No matter the trial, I will not fail." The hall went dark, and in the silence the alien sisters' voices echoed together. "If you want one of us, you must face us all." The night was heavy with silence. The human did not sleep. He sat inside a small stone chamber deep in the alien palace, waiting for dawn. Outside his window, 2 moons floated above the black sky, their pale light casting long shadows across the alien city. The air was cold. Strange creatures sang in the distance, but inside his mind was louder than any sound. He thought of her, the alien woman who had stolen his heart. He thought of her golden eyes, the way they had looked at him with both love and fear. He whispered to himself, "I cannot fail. If I lose her forever." At that moment, the heavy iron door opened. A guard entered, an alien soldier with armor black as night. "The sisters call you," the guard said in a voice like stone. The human stood, his body tense but his steps steady. He followed the guard down a long corridor lit by glowing blue fire. Every step echoed against the cold floor. He felt the weight of thousands of alien eyes watching him from the shadows. Finally, he reached the great hall again. The silver walls gleamed, brighter this time, as if the palace itself knew trials were about to begin. The alien crowd had returned, filling the hall with whispers. The air was thick with excitement, like a storm waiting to break. At the center stood the 3 sisters. The first sister, the warrior, raised her armored hand. Her voice was sharp, cutting through the hall like a blade. "Human, you have asked for what no one dared before. You seek to claim one of us, but our bond cannot be broken. You must prove your worth. If you fail, you leave this world in shame." The human lifted his head. His voice was firm. "I will not fail." The second sister, the one of wisdom, stepped forward. Her robes flowed like water, and her glowing eyes studied him as if reading every thought. "Strength alone is not enough," she said. "A man may have power but lack mind. You must show us you can think beyond fear. You must solve what others cannot." The third sister, silent until now, spoke in a low, heavy voice. "Even strength and wisdom mean nothing without loyalty. A man may fight, a man may think, but will he stay when the stars burn? Or will he flee? That is what I will know." The human listened, his heart pounding. 3 sisters. 3 trials, each one a gate between him and the woman he loved. Then the alien woman appeared, stepping from behind them. Her eyes glistened and her voice trembled. "I do not want these trials," she whispered, "but they are bound to me as I am bound to them. If you want me, you must want them too. I cannot be yours alone." The human's chest ached. He reached his hand toward her, but the sisters pulled her back. The warrior sister raised her hand again. The hall fell into silence. "The trials will begin with me," she declared. "Strength is the first test. If you are weak, there is no need for wisdom or loyalty. At dawn, you will fight the beast." A roar swept through the crowd. Some laughed, some shouted, some called him a dead man. The words "the beast" echoed like thunder across the walls. The human frowned. "What beast?" The warrior sister's eyes glowed like fire. "You will see." The second sister stepped forward, her voice like a soft wave. "And if you survive her trial, you will face me in the labyrinth of mirrors. There you will learn that lies and illusions are stronger than swords." The third sister's eyes narrowed. Her tone was cold. "And if you survive her trial, you will face me. Not with blade or puzzle, but with heart. You will be tempted with freedom. You will be tempted with escape. If your loyalty breaks, you lose her forever." The alien woman cried out. "Please, he is human. He cannot endure all this." The warrior sister's reply was iron. "If he cannot, then he does not deserve you." The hall grew darker as the torches dimmed. The crowd began to chant in a strange alien tongue, their voices rising like a storm. The human stood in the middle, alone but unbroken. He raised his voice so all could hear. "I came not for trials. I came not for glory. I came for love. But if these are your ways, then I will face them. Strength, wisdom, loyalty, I will give them all. Not to prove I am powerful, not to prove I am clever, but to prove my love is true." The chanting stopped. The sisters stared at him in silence. Then, slowly, the warrior sister's lips curved into a sharp smile. "Then prepare yourself, human. At dawn, the beast will be released." The human's heart pounded, but he did not look away. He stood tall, his eyes fixed on hers. The alien woman reached out again, her voice breaking. "Do not die. Please." The guards pulled her back once more. The crowd roared with excitement. The sisters turned away, their robes sweeping the floor. The human whispered to himself, "Love brought me here. Love will carry me through." Outside, the 2 moons sank lower. The first light of dawn touched the alien city, and somewhere in the shadows a deep growl shook the ground. The beast was waiting. The dawn came with fire. 2 suns rose above the alien city, painting the sky in red and gold. Their light poured into the great arena, a circle of stone larger than 100 ships. Thousands of aliens filled the seats, their voices rising in chants that shook the air. At the center of the arena stood the human. He had no armor, no weapons, only his simple clothes and his beating heart. Around him, the ground was cracked from past battles. The smell of blood and dust filled his nose. High above, the 3 sisters stood on a platform of silver. The warrior sister leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "Strength will decide this day," she said. "If you cannot survive the beast, you are not worthy of our sister." The human raised his head. His voice carried, though the crowd roared against him. "I am not afraid." "Release your beast." A deep growl rolled through the arena. Iron gates shook and rattled. Chains clanged. The ground trembled under heavy steps. Then, with a thunderous crash, the gates opened. Out stepped the beast. It was taller than any man, its body covered in black scales that shimmered in the sun. Its arms were like tree trunks, its claws long enough to slice stone. 2 glowing red eyes locked on the human, burning with hunger. Its jaws opened, revealing teeth like knives, and it let out a roar so loud the sky seemed to shake. The crowd screamed in excitement. Some shouted for blood. Others laughed, certain the human would die within moments. The human's heart pounded, but he did not move. He whispered to himself, "I came for her." "I will not run," the beast charged. Its steps thundered like drums, dust exploding beneath its feet. The human leapt aside just as its massive claws struck the ground, carving deep cracks into the stone. The arena floor shook, but the human was still standing. The beast turned quickly, faster than he expected. Its tail whipped out like a whip of steel. The human raised his arms too late. He was thrown across the arena, crashing against the wall. Pain shot through his body. His vision blurred. The crowd roared louder, some already shouting for his end. The warrior sister watched with cold eyes. "He will not last," she muttered. But the alien woman, trapped beside her sisters, cried out, "He will. He is stronger than you think." The human forced himself up, blood on his lips. He looked at the beast, which growled and scraped its claws against the stone. His body ached, but his mind was clear. "I cannot fight it with strength," he thought. "I am human. I must fight with something else." He studied the arena. Cracks in the stone. Loose pillars near the edge. Shadows where the beast's heavy body could be trapped. His mind worked fast. The beast roared again and charged. The human ran, not away, but toward one of the broken pillars. At the last second, he ducked aside. The beast slammed into the pillar, breaking it in half. Stone crashed down on its back, but the monster only shook itself free with another roar. The human's eyes narrowed. "Not enough. I need more." He ran again, weaving between cracks and broken walls. The beast chased him, its huge body smashing through stone. Dust filled the air. The human coughed, but kept running. He led the beast toward a cluster of tall, cracked pillars at the far side of the arena. The alien crowd began to notice. Their chants grew uncertain. Was the human simply running, or was he planning something? The beast charged again. The human stopped in front of the tallest pillar and dropped to the ground at the last moment. The monster's body slammed into the stone with full force. The pillar cracked, shuddered, and collapsed, falling directly on the beast's back. This time the weight was too much. The creature roared in pain, trapped under tons of stone. It clawed and thrashed, but its body was pinned. The arena shook as dust covered everything. The human crawled forward, breathing hard. He looked up at the beast, still alive, still growling, but unable to rise. Slowly, painfully, he stood. His body shook, but his voice was steady. "I do not need to kill it," he shouted. "I only needed to survive it. Strength is not only muscle, it is the will to endure." The crowd fell silent. Then slowly the silence turned to whispers. Some aliens nodded. Some looked angry. But all watched him differently now. The warrior sister stared down at him, her eyes cold but not without respect. She raised her hand and the gates closed with a thunderous echo. The beast, still trapped, roared one last time before vanishing into the darkness. The human stood in the center of the arena, battered but alive. The warrior sister spoke at last. "You are not strong like us, but you are not weak either. You have earned the right to face the next trial." The alien woman's golden eyes shone with tears. She whispered, "I knew you would survive." The second sister stepped forward, her glowing eyes fixed on the human. Her voice was calm yet sharp. "You have faced strength. Now face wisdom. Tomorrow you enter the labyrinth of mirrors. There your mind will be tested." There your heart will be tempted. Survive that, and perhaps we will begin to believe." The human nodded. His body ached, but his spirit was unbroken. "I will face it," he said simply. The crowd roared once more, not with laughter this time, but with respect. Above, the alien woman placed her hand against her chest. Her lips moved silently. "Do not give up." The human looked up at her, his eyes steady. "I never will," he whispered back. The suns climbed higher in the sky, but the shadows in the labyrinth were already waiting. The next day, the arena was silent. The human stood before a giant black gate carved with strange glowing symbols. The crowd had returned, but this time their voices were hushed. They knew strength had been tested. Now it was time for wisdom. The second sister, dressed in deep blue robes, stepped forward. Her eyes glowed like cold stars, calm but sharp. She raised her hand, and the symbols on the gate began to burn brighter. The air grew heavy, filled with whispers that were not from the crowd but from the walls themselves. "The trial of wisdom begins," she said softly. Her voice was smooth, but it carried across the entire arena. "Inside lies the labyrinth of mirrors. It is not built of stone, it is built of thought, fear, and illusion. Many have entered. Few have left. You must find the true path. You must resist the lies. If you fail, you will wander until your mind breaks." The gate opened with a deep rumble, revealing a dark tunnel of shimmering glass. Light twisted inside, bending in strange ways. The human stepped forward. He looked once at the alien woman in the stands. Her golden eyes shone with fear. He nodded to her as if to say, "I will return." Then he entered. The gate closed behind him. Darkness swallowed the sound of the crowd. Inside, the air was cool and still. Mirrors stretched in every direction, reflecting not only his body but his soul. Each reflection looked slightly different, one smiling, one frowning, one crying, one filled with rage. He took a step. The mirrors shifted. The floor seemed to move. He was no longer sure where the path began or ended. A voice whispered, soft, gentle, almost familiar. "Why suffer for her? You are human. She is alien. You do not belong here." The human spun, but no one was there. Only his reflection, lips moving though he had said nothing. Another voice came from behind him. "She does not love you. She pities you. Leave now before you break." He clenched his fists. These are lies, but the whispers grew louder. The mirrors began to show images, visions of Earth, of his home, his mother smiling, his friends laughing, his old life safe and warm. One reflection spoke. "You can go back. Step through me and you will wake on Earth, free from this madness." His heart ached. He wanted to touch that image, to feel home again. But then he remembered her. The alien woman's eyes, her voice, her trembling hand reaching for him. He shook his head. "No, I came here for her. I will not turn back." The vision of Earth shattered like glass, falling into nothing. He walked deeper. The mirrors twisted again, now showing the alien woman herself. She stood before him, her eyes filled with tears. "Leave me," she whispered. "I am not worth your pain. Save yourself." His chest tightened. It looked so real. He wanted to reach out and hold her. But then he saw her shadow. Behind her reflection stood the second sister, her glowing eyes watching. He understood. This was another trick. "You are not her," he said firmly. "You cannot fool me." The reflection dissolved, leaving only empty glass. The path stretched on. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt strange inside the labyrinth. His body was tired, but his mind stayed sharp. Then came the final illusion. The mirrors around him showed the alien woman again, but this time not alone. She stood with another human, tall and strong, holding her hand. They laughed together, eyes full of love. The vision spoke. "She has chosen me, not you. You are nothing. Go back to your world." The human's hands trembled. His heart felt like breaking. For a moment, doubt touched him. Could she truly want another? Could his journey mean nothing? But then he remembered her words, her trembling voice when she begged him not to die, her golden eyes locked on his during the beast trial. That was real. This was not. He took a deep breath. "You cannot break me. I know her heart. I know my own. My love is stronger than your lies." He struck the mirror with his fist. The glass shattered, light exploding outward. The walls of the labyrinth shook. The whispers screamed and then fell silent. When the light faded, he found himself standing before the exit. A tall silver gate opened slowly, leading back to the arena. The human stepped out, sweat dripping from his face, but his spirit unbroken. The crowd erupted in shock. They had seen many fail. But this human had walked through the labyrinth and returned. The second sister's glowing eyes studied him. For a moment, her lips curved into the faintest smile. "You are wiser than I believed," she admitted. "Perhaps you are not a fool after all." The alien woman in the stands cried out in joy, tears shining on her cheeks. She pressed her hands to her chest, whispering his name. The third sister stepped forward now. Her voice was low, her presence heavy. "Strength you have shown. Wisdom you have proved. But neither will matter without loyalty. Tomorrow you face me, and I will know if your heart can endure." The human raised his head. "Then I will endure. No matter the trial, my love will not break." The sisters turned away. The crowd buzzed with excitement, their voices mixing like thunder. As he was led from the arena, the human glanced once more at the woman he loved. Their eyes met, and in silence they both understood. The hardest trial was yet to come, and somewhere deep inside, the third sister's eyes glowed darker than the night, as if she already knew how to destroy him. The arena was quiet that morning. No chants, no shouts, only silence. The aliens filled the seats, but their faces were serious. This was the third trial, the trial of loyalty, and all knew it was the hardest. The human stood once more at the center. His body carried the marks of his battles. His arm was bruised from the beast, his eyes still red from the labyrinth. Yet he stood tall, his spirit burning stronger than before. The third sister stepped forward. She was the darkest of them all. Her hair black as night, her eyes sharp and unyielding. She wore no armor, no glowing robes, only simple dark cloth. But her presence was heavier than stone. She looked down at him with cold eyes. "Strength may win battles. Wisdom may escape lies. But loyalty," she paused, her voice deep and slow. "Loyalty is the heart. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be faked. Today we will see if yours is real." The human nodded. "Test me. My heart will not break." The third sister raised her hand. The arena floor opened, revealing a glowing path of light. The human stepped onto it, and the world around him shifted. In the blink of an eye, he was no longer in the arena. He stood in a strange, dreamlike place, an endless desert of silver sand, with a red sky above. The air was hot, and the ground shook as if alive. He looked around, confused. "What is this?" A voice spoke, soft and tempting. It was the third sister's voice, but it echoed from everywhere at once. "This is the place of choice. Here your heart will be weighed." Before him appeared a vision. A door of light opened, and beyond it he saw Earth, his home. Blue skies, green fields, his family waiting with open arms. He heard his mother calling his name, his father's voice filled with pride. The voice whispered, "Step through and you are free. No more trials, no more pain. You will live as a man again, safe and happy. Take this chance, human. Leave her and go home." The human's chest ached. His body longed for that door, for the warmth of his old world. He took one step closer, but then stopped. He clenched his fists. "No, that is not real. My home is with her now." The door of light vanished into smoke. The ground trembled again, and another vision appeared. This time it was the alien woman herself. She was tied in chains, kneeling on the sand, her golden eyes filled with tears. The third sister's voice boomed, "She suffers because of you. Your love brought her pain. Walk away and she will be free. Abandon her and she will live. Stay and she will die with you." The human's heart almost broke. He wanted to run to her, to break the chains. But he knew this was another trap. He shouted into the air, "I will not leave her. Even if she dies, I will stand with her. My loyalty does not break." The chains turned to dust. The vision dissolved, but the test was not over. The sand shifted again, and the third vision appeared. Now the alien woman stood before him, but she was different. Cold, cruel, her golden eyes burning with fire. She spoke in a voice not her own. "I never loved you. You are nothing but a toy. My sisters forced me to act. You are a fool to believe me." The words stabbed like knives. His knees weakened. For a moment, doubt filled him. What if it was true? But then he remembered her face when she begged him not to die. He remembered her tears when he entered the labyrinth. He remembered the hope in her eyes when he survived the beast. Those things were real. This was not. He lifted his head. His voice rang across the desert. "You cannot fool me. Her heart is true, and so is mine. I will not betray her. Not for Earth, not for freedom, not for lies. My loyalty belongs to her until the end of all stars. The vision shattered. The desert cracked apart and light swallowed everything. The human fell to his knees, gasping as the world returned to the arena. The crowd gasped in shock. He had survived the impossible trial. The third sister stood above him, her cold eyes unreadable. For a long moment she said nothing. Then slowly she bowed her head. "You did not break. Your loyalty is real," the alien woman cried out with joy. She rushed forward, only to be stopped by guards. Tears fell from her eyes as she shouted, "I knew you would never leave me." The human stood, though his body trembled. He looked at the sisters. "I faced your strength. I faced your wisdom. I faced your loyalty. I am still here. Will you finally allow me to be with her?" The sisters exchanged a long, silent look. The crowd waited, breathless. At last the warrior sister spoke. "You have passed our trials. But there is one truth you do not yet know." The second sister's glowing eyes burned brighter. "Our bond is deeper than you think." The third sister's voice was heavy as stone. "We are not separate. We are one. If you claim her, you claim us all." The human froze. The crowd erupted in shock. The alien woman covered her face, her heart breaking. The sisters' voices joined together, echoing like thunder. "One vow is never enough. If you want her, human, you must want us too." The arena was silent. Not a single voice rose from the crowd. Even the wind seemed to pause. The three sisters stood above the human, their eyes glowing in unison. Their words still echoed through the great hall. "If you want one of us, you must want us all." The human's heart pounded. He had survived the beast. He had conquered the labyrinth. He had resisted temptation in the desert of loyalty. And yet, after all his trials, the truth struck harder than any blow. The alien woman, the one he loved, looked at him with tears in her golden eyes. She whispered, her voice breaking, "I tried to warn you. We cannot be divided. We are bound together since birth. Our law, our blood, our souls are one." The human's chest tightened. He looked at the three sisters. Each was so different, warrior, wisdom, and loyalty. But their bond was unbreakable. If he wanted her, he must accept them too. The crowd stirred at last, their voices rising in a storm of whispers. Some called it madness. Others demanded he refuse. A few shouted in awe, waiting to see if a human could accept such a fate. The warrior sister stepped forward. Her voice was sharp as a blade. "You proved your strength. You are not weak." The second sister's eyes glowed brighter. "You proved your wisdom. You are not blind." The third sister's voice was heavy. "You proved your loyalty. You are not false." Together they spoke. But one test remains, the test of choice. Will you accept all of us, or will you walk away forever? The human stood frozen. His heart fought against his mind. Humans did not live this way. One love, one vow, one heart. That was the law of his people. To bind himself to all three. It was impossible, he whispered, almost to himself. If I take all, is it still love? Or is it surrender? The alien woman reached for him, her hands trembling. If you leave me, I am lost. If you take me, you must take them too. There is no other path. The crowd roared, demanding an answer. The arena shook with voices. The human felt the weight of 1,000 eyes pressing on him. Suddenly, the warrior sister raised her hand and the noise died. She looked at him with cold fire. Do not delay, human. Choose now. The human closed his eyes. His memories flooded back. The first moment he saw her. Her laughter, her kindness, the way her golden eyes softened when she looked at him. He remembered her whisper before the trials. Do not die, please. He opened his eyes, clear and steady. I came here for her. My heart belongs to her. If her heart cannot be mine without yours, then so be it. I accept you all. Not for power, not for glory, but because love cannot be cut into pieces. The arena fell silent. Even the sisters froze. The second sister tilted her head, her glowing eyes narrowing. You would bind yourself to us all? Even knowing our ways will never be your ways? Yes, the human said, because love is not just mine, it is hers, and she is not alone. The third sister's lips curved slightly. For the first time she almost smiled, but the warrior sister's face hardened. Do not think this path is easy. You will not be honored as a hero. You will be cursed by many. Our law is harsh, our world is cruel. Do you still stand by your vow? The human's voice was steady. Yes, the alien woman fell to her knees, tears running down her face. Relief and joy shone in her golden eyes. She whispered, He chose us. The crowd erupted into chaos. Some shouted in anger. Others cried out in shock. But among them were voices of awe, calling him brave, calling him different. The three sisters turned to face the people. Together their voices thundered, "He has passed the trials. He has made his choice. From this day, he is bound to us. From this day, he is one of us." The hall shook with their power. Light blazed from the walls, filling the arena. The human fell to one knee, not from weakness, but from the weight of destiny pressing down on him. The alien woman rushed forward at last, breaking past the guards. She threw her arms around him, her tears falling onto his shoulder. "You are mine," she whispered, "and theirs too. But most of all, you are ours." The human held her tightly, whispering back, "Then let it be. I will not let go." The sisters looked on, their faces unreadable. For the first time, the bond between human and alien had been sealed, not with one vow, but with many. But in the shadows of the crowd, not all eyes were kind. Whispers of rebellion stirred. Other clans, other rulers watched with envy and anger. This union was more than love. It was a challenge to their ancient ways. The human did not know it yet, but his choice had set fire to the galaxy, and so the trials were done. But the war of hearts was only beginning. The arena was still shaking from the sisters' declaration. Their voices echoed like thunder. "From this day he is bound to us. From this day he is one of us." The crowd erupted in chaos. Some shouted in anger, others in disbelief. A few cheered, their voices small but defiant. Never before had a human stood in this place. Never before had a man claimed not one, but all three alien sisters. The human stood in the center of it all, his body bruised, his clothes torn, but his eyes clear and steady. At his side, the alien woman clung to him, her golden eyes shining with both love and fear. The warrior sister raised her hand, silencing the crowd once more. Her voice cut through the air like a blade. "You chose us, human, and with that choice you accept our burdens. Our enemies will now be your enemies. Our laws will now be your chains. There is no turning back." The human lifted his head. His voice was steady. "I understand. But love is not fear. Love is not chains. I will not run no matter what comes." The second sister stepped forward. Her glowing eyes searched his face as if she could see into his soul. "You speak of love as if it can defy law, war, and death. Do you truly believe it is strong enough?" "Yes," he answered simply. "Because it is the only thing that brought me this far." For the first time, the second sister's lips curved into a faint smile. Then the third sister spoke, her voice deep and heavy. "So be it. But know this, your vow binds you not only to her, not only to us, but to all who follow our bloodline. Your loyalty will be tested again, and if you ever break it, the punishment will be greater than death." The human did not flinch. He bowed his head slightly. "Then I will never break it." The sisters turned to the crowd. Together they declared, "He is chosen. He is bound. He is ours." Light blazed across the arena. The air trembled as their ancient bond wrapped itself around the human's body like fire and shadow. Symbols of their people burned on his skin, glowing for a moment before fading into his flesh. Gasps filled the hall as the crowd saw the mark of union, the sign that he now belonged to the sisters forever. The alien woman reached for his hand, and this time, no one stopped her. Their fingers locked together. She whispered through her tears, "You are mine, and we are yours." The human smiled softly, despite the weight of destiny pressing on him. "Then let us face whatever comes together." For a moment the hall was silent again. A fragile peace seemed to settle. But peace did not last. From the far side of the arena a voice shouted in rage, "This is no union. This is betrayal." The crowd turned. A group of alien leaders stood, their robes bright with power. One of them pointed at the human, his eyes burning with fury. "You dare break our ancient ways? You dare let a human claim what belongs to our blood? This is shame. This is war." The arena shook with cries of anger. The crowd split. Some shouted for tradition, others for change. The sisters stood tall, their golden eyes glowing in defense. The human tightened his grip on the alien woman's hand. His voice rose above the noise. "I am human. I do not follow your ways, but I faced your trials. I survived your tests. I did not cheat. I did not lie. If my love is strong enough to endure your strength, your wisdom, and your loyalty, then it is strong enough to endure your anger too." The words struck the crowd like fire. Some fell silent. Others roared louder, but none could deny the truth. He had passed what no alien had ever passed. The warrior sister stepped forward, her voice fierce. He is ours. If you challenge him, you challenge us. Remember what that means. The second sister's eyes burned brighter. Change is not weakness. Change is survival. The third sister spoke last, her voice like thunder. If you seek war, then war you shall have. But know this, the human will stand with us, and together we will not fall. The crowd's fury broke like waves. Some shouted for rebellion, others for unity. The arena was no longer just a place of trials. It had become the spark of something greater. The human looked at the alien woman, his voice soft now, only for her. This is only the beginning, isn't it? She nodded, her golden eyes shining. Yes, you chose us, and now the galaxy will answer. Some will hate you. Some will fear you. But some will follow you. He took a deep breath. Then let them come. I will not let go of you. Not now, not ever. The sisters looked at him with something new in their eyes. Not just challenge. Not just judgment. But respect. The arena's light dimmed and the ceremony ended. The human had answered with his heart. He had chosen the impossible path. And though the trials were over, his true journey had only begun. Above them, the twin suns burned brighter as if the stars themselves were watching.